On a morning at Qingtang Academy, several students are at the classroom entrance, very curious, since they hear someone shouting, asking the other person to repeat what he just said. Lin Yu, a senior at the academy, wants the other student to return his sister's medicine and swears that he will regret it if he does not do what he asked. Zhang Yang, also a senior at the academy, laughs and asks if a failure with a blood essence of only 0.62 really thinks he can make him regret it. His friend calls the MC and emphasizes that Zhang Yang's blood essence is 3.5. So, Lin Yu is worse than an ordinary person, and because of that, he thinks it would be better for him to stop talking nonsense. That said, he stresses that if it were not for his talented sister, he would not even set foot in Qingtang Academy. Zhang Yang walks up to Lin Yu, asking if he said he wanted the medicine in his hand. Then, he drops the bottle and tells him to pick it up. The MC becomes desperate and jumps to try to catch it. However, he is too slow, and the medicine shatters completely when it falls to the floor. Lin Yu cannot believe what just happened, but Zhang Yang still does not leave him alone and grabs his shirt. Then, he throws the MC hard against a trash can. Zhang Yang steps on the MC's arm and comments that trash has to stay with trash, until he turns around after hearing someone warn that the teacher is returning to the classroom. Therefore, both Zhang Yang and his friend leave, saying it is better to leave the MC's trash in the middle of the filth. Lin Yu looks at the broken medicine on the floor and thinks that it was the supplement that kept his sister stable, and that now he will have to work twice as hard to buy another one. But, thinking about what Zhang Yang did, he becomes furious and swears that one day he will pay for what he did, until someone extends a hand to help the MC get up. It is Lin Xin, wanting to know if he is okay. After getting up, Lin Yu thanks her for helping him. She says it is fine and that they need to return to class. However, the MC receives a call on his watch, with a guy wanting to know if he is going to skip work and why he has not arrived yet. Lin Yu runs off, saying that he is going to work immediately, which leaves Lin Xin unable to understand anything. While pedaling quickly on his bicycle, the MC thinks that in the year 4832 of the ancient century, the world changed and the population decreased. And, while humanity faced this crisis, people's bodies began to surpass their limits, awakening supernatural powers. And these people became known as warriors, receiving the utmost respect and being sent to the front line, protecting humanity. When time advanced to the first year of elevated martial arts, they discovered that not even death was an escape from pollution, since the dead transformed into irrational, bloodthirsty creatures, which are called resurrected corpses. Because of this, nowadays, the only way to deal with pollution and these resurrected corpses is, and always will be, incineration. This is the MC's job, where, after school, he goes to the crematorium to burn the bodies that arrive from the front line. As soon as he arrives at work, he quickly puts on his clothes and opens the door. Lin Yu thinks that his sister's nutrient pod is almost running out and that, because of this, he needs to gather 200,000 before the end of the month, since he has in mind that his sister has always been different from him. In the second year of high school, her blood essence had already surpassed 10,000, and she also had the ultra-rare talent of telekinesis. But, on the day of their 17th birthday, she fell into a coma for no reason at all and never woke up again. The MC knows that he was born with no talent at all, and before, it was his sister who protected him. Now, he is the one who has to take care of her. While taking another body to be cremated, he knows that he receives 20,000 per cremation, and that, with that day's payment, he can already replace the broken medicine. But if he burns 10 more bodies, he will get enough for the nutrient pod. Then, after turning on the incineration and seeing the body being cremated, Lin Yu knows that all the bodies that arrive there are contaminated. One tiny mistake, and the operator could be eliminated or become a monster as well, which is exactly why the job pays so well. But even so, almost no one wants such work, until he ends up being very surprised, since he is seeing a dark energy inside. Then, very impressed, he questions what he is seeing, since this has never happened before. But to make the situation worse, out of nowhere, the door to the cremation area opens by itself, and the strange dark energy comes out. Then, the anomaly heads toward the MC, and as it penetrates his body, he becomes very scared, wanting to know what the hell is happening. However, A few seconds later, he feels that his body is light and that it even seems to be better than ever. Then, he begins to notice some strange visions, in which a commander wants to know what Li Yang will do after he graduates. The next memory is of a general congratulating the same person for joining the recruit company of the Special Operations Brigade of the 38th Army. And, in one of these visions, the guy named Li Yang was training hard, supervised by a soldier who always shouted, telling him to sweat more in peace so he would bleed less in war. So, the guy kept training in everything possible, until one day, Li Yang was on the defense line, fighting against several exotic beasts that had broken through the barrier. After seeing all these memories, the MC receives a system notification informing him that the Soul-Devourer is loading. He, still scared, wants to know if he really just saw the past life of a dead warrior, until he looks back after hearing that the Soul-Devourer system has been activated. However, at the same time, a creature that was about to be cremated awakens. Lin Yu does not notice this, since he is trying to understand what this Soul-Devourer system could be. But he soon looks back after hearing the huge creature trying to break free from the chains. The MC thinks that many strange things are happening all at once, since first he received a notification from a system screen, and then a level 1 exotic beast revived. The creature becomes impatient and charges forward. Lin Yu steps back and tries to defend himself from the exotic beast's attempts to bite him, while it, even though it is chained, tries at all costs to bite the MC. At that moment, the system informs him that the soul memories of the warrior Li Yang have been analyzed. Now, the MC needs to choose one of the abilities below to cultivate. The first option is Immortal Will. The second is Basic Military Arts. And finally, Elevated Ambition. Lin Yu, having great difficulty holding back the exotic beast, chooses the second option. However, one of the chains ends up breaking because of the creature's strength. While becoming more worried, the MC is notified that he should use combat to increase the skill's proficiency. Then, another chain breaks. With that, the creature uses its sharp claws to try to hit the MC, but he manages to jump back to avoid being caught. As soon as he creates distance, the MC reflects that, apparently, it seems like a wave of power has invaded his body and that his vision has also changed, since he can see the jackal dog's movements. It, in turn, charges forward again. But Lin Yu dodges another attack and thinks that the attack came very close to hitting him, until he realizes that the movements he is making are the military arts from the memories of that Li Yang. The jackal dog comes at the MC again, but this time, he watches the attack carefully. Then, he counterattacks with a precise knee strike to the creature, which is thrown away. Lin Yu, surprised by what he just did, questions when he became so strong and whether it was the work of the Soul-Devourer system, until he ends up being informed that the progress of basic military arts is at 10%. With that, his physical ability is increased by 10%, and the enemy's weak points are revealed. The MC looks at his body and thinks that he cannot believe it, since he thinks it is something that even defies the heavens. However, he wants to understand why this happened and whether it was because of that strange light from before. Then, as he approaches the fallen body of the jackal dog, the MC is notified that a body has been detected nearby and is available for soul-devouring. Lin Yu concludes that, since there is a creature's corpse there, it is better to test it and see what happens. But before doing that, he decides to store the ashes of the warrior Li Yang, whom he cremated. And as soon as he does that, he looks at the container holding the ashes, thanks the warrior for lending him his abilities, and wishes him to rest in peace. Then he returns to the jackal dog and thinks that this happened while he was cremating the body last time. And when he places his hand on the creature, he feels energy going straight into his body. After all the energy leaves the jackal dog and enters his body, the MC is overcome by the same fury the creature had shown. Then, he begins to feel a severe headache, and soon after, he starts seeing the jackal dog's memories, in which the exotic beast was feeding on several warriors from the front line. Lin Yu falls to his knees on the ground and, completely shaken, questions whether those were really the jackal dog's memories before the creature was eliminated. Besides, he never imagined that the warriors at the border dealt with as many monsters every day as he saw in the memories. At that moment, the system informs him that the soul memories of the exotic beast have been loaded, and, like last time, the MC needs to choose an ability to cultivate. those being the sharp claws ability, the devouring technique, and chaotic consciousness. Lin Yu concludes that the point of light that appeared during the cremation only served as a trigger to activate the Soul Devourer system. With that, he thinks this means that whenever he touches a corpse, he will devour it and access its soul memories. But he questions which ability he should choose. After all, he thinks that if this so-called devouring technique literally means going around eating people, that is completely out of the question. So, he ends up deciding to choose the sharp claws ability, which he had just witnessed the jackal dog using. And as soon as he chooses this ability, his arm begins to undergo a transformation until it has the huge sharp claws of the creature whose soul he devoured. Lin Yu gets excited and thinks that now he can have offensive power since the sharp claws increase the attack power of his hands by 5% and cause cutting damage. However, the MC is notified that the Soul Devourer ability has entered cooldown and will be available again after 12 hours. Lin Yu sits on the floor and thinks that he first needs to understand this system better. A few minutes later, the MC remembers that the system had said using abilities in combat increases proficiency, but he wonders if, with the absorption option, it is possible to absorb the same ability to accumulate progress. But apparently, he will need to test that later, until he realizes that the system itself also has a level. So, he concludes that even the system can evolve, but it just does not explain how to do that. Lin Yu stands up and thinks it is better to focus on what he can understand for now and, afterward, discover a way to evolve the